Hello and welcome to episode 7 of AEW Rise to the Top, where we take AEW and we're trying to get them to the number one ranked company in the world in TEW 2020. And today we have finally got Fyter Fest. I'm so excited. I've had so much fun booking this, so let's just jump straight into it. We've got 2 pre-show matches. The first pre-show match is Riho and Big Swole taking on Nyla Rose and the Bunny. And Riho managed to pick up the pin by hitting Nyla Rose with a jumping knee attack, just like she did to become the first ever AEW Women's Champion. So this rating got a 46, which is pretty decent for the first match. Big Swole got a 29, Riho had a 46, the Bunny had a 49, and Nyla Rose had a 36. A pretty vocal crowd, didn't seem thrilled seeing the Bunny, but she's so good. It's really annoying. So let's move on to the second pre-show matchup. Next up, we have Brandon Cutler versus Peter Avalon to determine who is the worst wrestler in AEW. And in just under 9 minutes in this hardcore matchup, Brandon Cutler defeated Peter Avalon with a roll-up. So Brandon Cutler is officially not the worst wrestler in AEW. Brandon Cutler got a 40, Peter Avalon got a 47. They have great chemistry. That's good. This type of match was a poor choice. Not good for a hardcore match. They didn't like the overbooked. It only got a 29. But as someone pointed out in the comments, all these ratings go very well with the fact that this storyline is to see who is the worst wrestler. So now let's move on to the first matchup on the main card of AEW Fyter Fest, the Shawn Spears Open Challenge. And his Open Challenge is answered by none other than Rockstar Spud, formerly Drake Maverick in WWE. And Shawn Spears defeats Rockstar Spud in just over 7 minutes. Just ignore what that says there, because I clicked the wrong button apparently. Shawn Spears got a 46, Rockstar Spud got a 49, very nice. Tully Blanchard did good work at ringside, and this overall got 46 rating, which is very, very good indeed. And next up, we have the huge 6-man tag team match between the Jurassic Express and Death Triangle. And Pac, Pentagon, and Rey Fenix managed to pick up the huge victory in just over 20 minutes, a very long match, when Pac made Marco Stunt tap out with the Brutalizer. Marco Stunt had a 47, Luchasaurus had a 37, Jungle Boy had a 41. They're all off their game. Rey Fenix had a 77, Pentagon had a 69, and Pac had an 84. He's so good. It's really annoying that this is the worst rated Death Triangle match we've had so far, and this was the big blow off. But oh well, these things happen. Next up, we have a video package detailing what would have been the main event of this evening. Let's see what it says. So a video plays telling the crowd that Moxley was injured due to the brutal assault by Brian Cage at the end of last week's Dynamite, and he has not been medically cleared to compete. So the match has been rescheduled for the next Dynamite. So you'll be seeing that matchup in the next episode. I'm very sorry about that. Little peek behind the curtain. I accidentally put Fyter Fest on the date that he was already working for New Japan, so he couldn't be here. So I'm saying this happened, and we'll do the match on Dynamite, and I will be more careful when I book things in the future. So this got a 36. I wasn't expecting it to be very good. But now let's go backstage to see the TNT Championship Open Challenge competitor arriving. As David Starr enters the arena, he is swarmed and attacked by 3 men in masks. They rip them off to reveal John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Stu Grayson. God damn it, this got 12. This is so bad. I thought this was going to be good. So the Dark Order have attacked David Starr as he enters the building, ready for his matchup with Cody, which is coming up next. And we have an elaborate entrance by the person who is now, it looks like, going to be accepting the Open Challenge, Mr. Brodie Lee. I got 65. And let's move straight on to that TNT Championship. Cody versus Mr. Brodie Lee, and Cody manages to pick up the win with the beautiful disaster, making defense number 6 of his TNT Championship title. So that got a segment rating of 61, which is good. Cody had a 65 and Mr. Brodie Lee had a 61. And lifting the crowd got them ready and buzzing, which is what we like to see. Next up, we have the battle to decide, or to find out who will be the next big thing in professional wrestling. It's MJF going one-on-one with Darby Allen. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Darby Allen managed to defeat MJF by pinfall with a coffin drop following a botched interference by Wardlow. So Wardlow making a mistake, costing MJF that matchup. This has got a 57. MJF had a 54 and Darby Allen had a 66. They have pretty good chemistry, which is good. And then all the normal stuff we're used to seeing with these two guys. So let's move on to our next match, our first women's match of the main card. And a bit of a grudge match between two members of the AEW women's roster. Dr. Britt Baker defeated Kris Statlander in 7 minutes and 48 seconds by pinfall. And you've got to think that maybe this puts Dr. Britt Baker in line for a future title shot at whoever wins tonight between Hikaru Tschida and Cheerleader Melissa. So Britt Baker had a 41, Statlander had a 36, 27. I moved this last minute from the pre-show to the main card, and I knew I was going to get the thing about pre-show workers, but I thought, they deserve to be on the main card. So screw you, game. I'm doing things my way. So next up, we have Ryan Cage, angry that his title match has been cancelled this evening due to Moxley's injury, demanding a matchup, and Orange Cassidy answers that call. Maybe he shouldn't have done, because he lost. He lost to a pump handle facebuster. This match got a 62 rating. Brian Cage had a performance of 61. Orange Cassidy had a performance of 58. And the Man versus Machine storyline advanced. And then all the stuff was good that normally is. Taz did some good work at ringside. And Orange Cassidy has a groundswell of public support, which is great. Next up, we have our first championship matchup of the evening, when Hikaru Tschida takes on Cheerleader Melissa. So in a bout that had a decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, Hikaru Tschida defeated Cheerleader Melissa by pinfall with a Tamashi no 3 count. That's her first defense of the AEW Women's Championship. Tschida got a 39, Melissa got a 50 rating, and the Women's Championship storyline ended with that segment, and that segment rating was a 46, which is pretty good. And let's see what comes up next. After the bell ring, Melissa immediately starts to attack Tschida. A woman hops the barricade in a hoodie and jumps into the ring. She starts to attack Melissa. Melissa retreats out the ring. The mystery woman pulls her hood down to reveal Tenille Dashwood. That's right, Tenille Dashwood is all elite, baby. So she debuted her Girl Next Door gimmick, which got an initial rating of poor. That's not good. And the Girl Next Door versus the Cheerleader storyline has advanced with this segment. She got a segment rating of 40, which is pretty good. Not too bad at all. And now let's move on to our second 6-man tag of the evening, and another grudge match where the Inner Circle of Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz take on SCU. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, the Inner Circle defeated SCU when Chris Jericho pinned Christopher Daniels with a Judas effect. But this only happened as Scorpio Sky turned on Daniels and Kazarian and sided with the Inner Circle. So the Inner Circle has gained a member now in Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian, and SCU have lost a member. So Ortiz had a performance of 67. All of the Inner Circle had a 67, including their new member Scorpio Sky. Daniels was a 51. Everyone else was a 67. And Scorpio Sky seemed off his game with a 67. That is promising. So now the Inner Circle have a new member, Scorpio Sky, turning to the dark side on his Southern California brothers. And let's see what happens next. MJF and Wardlow are being interviewed backstage. Max, how do you feel about how that match ended? I would have beaten that little punk if this giant moron hadn't messed me up. I'm done with putting up with you. Wardlow, you're fired. MJF low blows Wardlow and walks off, leaving Wardlow laying on the floor. So they both improvised well during the segment, and MJF benefited from being Flavor of the Month, and that had a rating of 58. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to move on to the main event of the evening. It's the AEW Tag Team Championship match between Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page and the best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Omega and Page defeated the best friends in a long match, 22 minutes almost, when Adam Page pinned Trent Beretta. That is their 4th defense of the World Tag Team titles, and we now know that it will be Page and Omega going up against the Broken Bad Boys on Dynamite this week. So that's going to be 2 massive title matches already set up for Dynamite this week. Let's go through this. So a 70 rating is really nice for a main event. Page had a 64, Omega had an 86. God damn. 56 for Trent and 52 for Chuck Taylor. The Friends vs. Friends storyline ended with this segment, and all the announcing was good. Let's move on to the next segment. Page and Omega are celebrating in the ring. The lights go out. The sound of a car revving echoes throughout the arena. The lights come on. FTR are in the ring. They attack Omega and Page, hitting the Shatter Machine on Page and a Spike Piledriver on Omega. FTR are here. Bloody finally. Yes. My favourite tag team. My favourite tag team. When they debuted on the most recent Dynamite and like their first match, I was so excited. I love them. They're great. So it's got a rating of 48. Apparently Dax Harwood's tough guy gimmick is poor, but Cash Wheeler's is very good. Which, okay. F the Rest storyline. FTR, get it? It's free, yeah. Has advanced, but lost heat. Omega was fantastic. The lack of... See, why does this keep coming up? Anyway, let's move on to the final segment of Fyter Fest. FTR make their way to the entrance ramp. They stare down the camera. Shawn Spears and Tully Blanchard come out. MJF comes out. They all look down the camera and hold up 4 fingers. 4 horsemen are back, baby. 4 horsemen, FTR, Shawn Spears, MJF, and all being managed by Tully Blanchard. Yes. Oh, so once again, the F the Rest storyline advanced but lost heat. It's only got a 50. The 4 Horsemen storyline advanced. FTR were both bad going off script. Spears, Blanchard, and MJF all enjoyed it. And that brings us to the end of Fyter Fest. Not as good as I was really hoping it to be. But let's see how we do in the final screen. A 67 overall. So that increased our popularity in 49 regions, which is very good. That David Starr Rise was terrible. So what happens when you have 3 people who have no popularity doing something. So yeah, we're penalised for not adding the pre-booking of John Moxley versus Brian Cage because John Moxley couldn't be here. And also, I messed up with the David Starr thing, which is why we went with the whole Brodie Lee attacking them, but it's fine. It will work itself out. Bit disappointed by the Death Triangle match. I thought that might be higher. Inner Circle match was really good. Main event was really good. You know, the women's match, that's one of our highest rated women's matches yet. So that's also good. Let's make a speech. I don't know. So who did well? I don't know who did well. Omega did well, didn't he? Come on now. Oh, it's because it's Kenny. Why am I trying to find Omega? Also, Pac did very well. And so they're going to be praised for a great performance. Praise for a great performance. What else can you do? Verbally eviscerated. Jesus. Told they could do better. Told that they're awesome. Given a hug. Okay, and let's compliment MJF as well, because he was on there quite a lot and he did quite a lot. So let's see how that goes down. Kenny Omega seems pleased. Pac seems pleased. MJF seems pleased. Awesome. So we're going back to the main menu now. I didn't realise that would take us back to the main menu. Otherwise, I would have not shown this loading screen. But it's happening now, and I'm still talking, and now we're off of it. So that's good. So let's see. In New Japan Climax, I had 80,000. 80 things. NWA Power. Hey, we were better than Power. We were better than Explosion. We were better than Progress. What about anything else? We were better than Stardom. So it looks like we were the highest rated show. Oh no, apart from that one. Yeah. 67. I'm really disappointed with that, to be honest. Had 616,000 buys and a total of 714,000 viewers. Okay, so let's check the emails and see what that says. Angelico is fully fit. Mr. Brodie Lee says Darby Allen is turning into a good worker. Very nice. Matt Hardy says Scorpio Sky is too clumsy. We've got 740,000 viewers and 616,000 buys, which is pretty good. So that is going to do it for our first pay-per-view episode. Fyter Fest is in the books. I feel like, I've learned a few things. I checked to make sure that, your main event can actually happen. It's a good one. But yeah, so David Starr had a big win, did he? Yeah, I messed up with him because I signed him to a 1 appearance deal, but then I decided that I wanted him to make 2 appearances, so I tried to sign him to another appearance, gave him the 1 appearance, and then he hasn't got back to me yet, which is annoying. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll be back. This is going out on Wednesday, so we'll be back on Friday for that episode of Dynamite with the AEW World Championship match and the Tag Team Championship match, which should be a huge show. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.